The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Michael Whelehan, Hilton class of 2023. You're now a LeMoyne Dolphin. How are things going?
Not too bad. Just got home for fall break today, so it's been nice to enjoy some time with family and friends. So excited to be here. Yeah.
So you're in your sophomore year at LeMoyne, and you're spending time. How many days you got off? You got a week off? Or?
Yeah, we got till Wednesday. I'll go back Wednesday.
Okay. And were you able to have a car there or to drive, or mom and dad come pick
Yep,
you up?
I got a car there. The parking pass price is kind of up there, but it's nice to have a car there. You kind of come home, go back whenever you kind of need to. So it's a good distance from home too. It's only about an hour 40, hour 45. So it's a good distance from home where I can feel where I'm far enough away from home, but I can also get home whenever I want. So it's a good feeling.
When you were that freshman year and you're coming from Hilton, now I guess you're in the Syracuse area. So you're coming from a small pond, now you're in a bit of bigger lake, I guess, so to speak. Sure. What was that transfer or that transformation like coming from Hilton to LeMoyne?
Yeah, so Hilton's obviously a really small town. The culture of the small town, I feel like, really built me and shaped me to expand outside of Hilton in the Rochester area. Syracuse in general, where LeMoyne is, it's 5-10 minutes outside from the inner city in a town called DeWitt. The campus itself is very isolated. It's up on a hill. The nickname for our campus is called the Heights. So it's a really small kind of community, just like Hilton, which I think that kind of what drew me there from Hilton. And then just LeMoyne kind of being that community-based school really sparked my interest in the school. And so that's where I felt that transition from Hilton to Syracuse to LeMoyne really connected well.
So there wasn't much of an issue or anything like that? Got into the classes and everything?
Yeah, for sure. The classes, there's really only 3 academic buildings on the whole campus, and they're all in the line. So in the winter, it's nice because you can kind of go underground, don't have to go outside and haul classes in the winter. And especially to being on the baseball team, you jump into an environment where you have 30 friends right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them being upperclassmen are like, hey, if you need anything, reach out. We live 2 minutes away off campus. If you need anything, we're here to help. So that's the community part, and the transition into there was very smooth, very easy. And it's what I love about it still to this day.
Your freshman year, did you come home a lot, or did you just wait for the breaks? I mean, when you're involved in baseball, you're pretty much tied, I would think.
Yeah, so pretty much doing the same thing as what I did this year. The fall is really low key. With baseball wise, we have fall practices for about 6 weeks, and then it leads right up to this wellness break, this fall break, where it's really only 5-6 days. So that's when I usually come home, spend a couple days with friends and family, and then go back. I get the itch to go back, just hang out with my friends at school. But yeah, I don't really come home too often. When I do, I enjoy my time here, but I'm always itching to go back to LeMoyne and get under with academics of baseball and just hang with my friends out there.
So you're at home for wellness break, you said they call that?
Yeah, wellness break.
Is mom or dad even making you some favorite meals of yours while you're home?
I'm going over to my grandparents today. They're making me lasagna, which is my absolute favorite. So it'll be good. My cousins are going over there. So it'll be good to have them under one roof again after I think a month and a half of being away from them. With my family too, just a distance from LeMoyne. They came. We had 2 fall league games. One was at OCC, which is about 20 minutes from LeMoyne, a community college there, and then one was at Cooperstown last weekend. We played against Villanova on the historic Doubleday Field, which was really cool. So they came to that because it's pretty close. It's only about an hour 40. LeMoyne is about 3 hours to Cooperstown, and then so I'm seeing them often throughout the fall, and they in the spring too. They come when they can. They're busy back home. My dad, being the varsity baseball coach, has his own season to worry about. But I see him a good amount of time, so it's not really where I feel that distant kind of feeling where I'm like, oh God, I'm kind of homesick. I kind of want to go home. Like I've never really felt that, which is very nice. So,
is this the Rieger family you're talking to, the cousins you're going to see today?
Yep.
Okay, and I see Tyler a lot on the football team.
Yep.
His siblings are stuff, standout athletes and stuff.
Yeah.
Junior cadets. And then is this Grandma Juju making the lasagna?
Yep, Juju. She's making it her homemade lasagna, which I absolutely love. It's my favorite dish ever.
So you're doing the podcast and you're heading right over there?
Heading right over there, yeah.
Okay. Now, does Mom have to bring a tossed salad or dessert?
No, she's, from what I know, from what I saw at home, she's got nothing. So we're going over there. She'll make lasagna. I'm sure she's going to have a dessert. You can't go anywhere without dessert. But she's awesome. I'll always, whenever I come home, she's like, are you going to come over for dinner? I'm like, whenever I got time, I'll be there. So we go there often for family dinners and stuff. Thanksgiving's always spent there. Christmas, all the holidays. Our family is really tight, close knit. So we're always together. We're always doing stuff, and especially with the Rieger family, with how busy they are, they're busier than my family. With Tyler, kind of what he's doing, Jaden, who's 8th grade, and then there's 2 twins who are in 5th grade that are really busy with their sports too. All the memories with them were at Juju and Beava's house with some kind of sporting ball, playing, tackling each other, hitting baseballs. They got a pond in the front there. We go fishing. So a lot of the memories with them stem from Juju and Beava's house, which that connection is always something I miss when I go to school. But when I come back, it's always the first thing on my mind, and I love going. So
it is nice to have that to come home to. And throughout your years, I've been watching you play since 1st grade, and they've been always been at your games along with your dad's dad, Mike, and everything. So it's there's Mindy, and then her sister Tiffany. It's those 2, and then you got your uncle
Jared is married to Tiffany.
Tiffany, and then of course your dad Kevin and Mindy, and then your brothers.
My brothers Cal and Cam. Cal is a junior and Cam's a freshman.
Okay, and you're one of those sports families through and through.
Yeah.
What's it like being the oldest of the 3 boys, and then you have the 2 younger ones? What's that like?
It's awesome. Cal's getting to the point now where he's kind of getting my height, my size too. So the bullying with him, kind of the physical violence, is getting even now. That brotherly kind of love that we share, express with playing wiffle ball in the yard, and then it always turns into an argument because someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. But just being with them, they don't know it, but they've really helped me become not only the brother that I am, but the player that I am too. If ever I'm bored and we're not doing anything, I'm like, Kel, grab a glove, let's go play catch, or Cam, let's grab a glove, let's go play catch, let's go hit. They're the first ones I ask always. And they're doing their thing right now on their own with baseball and basketball. And it's nice to see now, kind of sitting back and just watching them, especially from at the college level, kind of going through what they have. It's nice to see kind of the footsteps that they're taking, following my lead, and kind of just doing their own thing and molding it into their own kind of success, which they're starting to see now, which is very nice. So
you need to understand that they look up to their older brother.
Sure.
They want to be their older brother, and they might even outshine their older brother because they've been watching you do your thing for so many years. And their names are Cal and Cam. Explain how your mom and dad came up with those names.
Yeah, so my dad is a huge Orioles fan. Back in the day when the Rochester Red Wings were the affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles, my dad's favorite player was Cal Ripken Jr. And when Cal Ripken with the Red Wings. That's where he kind of fell in love with the game. So my brother Cal is named after Cal Ripken Jr. with a K because my dad's name is Kevin, so they kind of just put that. And then Cam is named Cam because of Camden Yards. That's where the Baltimore Orioles play. And then flip that too. That's with a K. And then my name and my mom's name are M, and then Kevin, Cal, and Cam are K. So we call ourselves the M and K kind of family. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Years back, I remember talking to your mom at a game, and she said that you have, as a family, you have field trips or summertime things that you want to do. Do you guys still do that? Explain to what our listeners what that is.
It's busy now. With me playing college ball, there's college summer leagues, so I'm busy with that kind of every day throughout the summer. Cal and Cam are playing summer ball too, with the organization called Rochester Brewers. So the baseball kind of never ends throughout the summer. But when we were younger, we would always try to hit a different major league stadium. We've been to, I think, 12 major league stadiums at this point. So each summer we kind of go to a major city that has a baseball team. And that's just a kind of a test to our love for baseball. We have my mom makes little like mini scrapbooks of our experience at all these different stadiums, and it's cool to see kind of like the growth of us throughout these different cities and ballparks that we've been to. The ultimate goal is to try to hit all 30 at some point. Who knows when that's going to be? Who knows when our lives are going to slow down? But yeah, it's been every summer we try to get somewhere new city. My dad's not the biggest city fan, just the rustle and bustle of the city. It really annoys him. But whenever he's at a baseball field, he's very comfortable. He's very at home. So me and my mom like the city experience, kind of like seeing all the tall buildings, all the cool atmosphere of the city. But it's a nice kind of a test to where we can enjoy the city and then we can go watch baseball too.
I know you're saying that you've been a little busy with summertime baseball, the Brewers and whatnot. What's the most recent major league ballpark you guys visited?
I think it was Fenway Park when we were playing in a tournament in Boston.
Okay.
We went there and saw a Red Sox Yankees game, which was a really cool atmosphere, just being the Red Sox Yankees. I think Garrett Cole was pitching. He pitched really well that game, I can remember. So that was the most recent. My favorite stadium has got to be probably PNC Park. We went there. We have a connection with a alumni here from Hilton, John Schwinn, who used to play in the Pirates organization. So we would always go to kind of like the minor league parks of the Pirates and watching his career kind of develop, and then just kind of going to PNC Park and watching some of his former teammates that we kind of met on the side play. That was a really cool experience that I've always remembered. And PNC Park was kind of the favorite stadium to it, so it kind of tied it all together. So PNC Park's up there. My park I'd want to go to is probably some parks on the West Coast, more like San Francisco, Dodger Stadium. Those places are really cool from what you see picture-wise. But yeah, like I said, who knows? The goal is 30, but we'll see. We'll see if we can get there, which should be fun once our life starts to slow down. Who knows when that will be?
And that could be when you're married, you have kids.
Yep.
You brought up Matt, John Schwinn.
Yep.
Can you explain a little bit to our listeners, viewers? He was famous for an All-Star game too. Explain that experience, what you saw.
Yeah. So John Schwinn is a alumni of Hilton. He graduated 2008, I want to say.
Okay.
He went to Marist College, and he ended up getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates in like the 41st round, which he always says is luck. He got pretty much lucky. He got blessed with being picked by the Pirates because nowadays and that will be drafted only 20 rounds.
Okay.
So there's not even 41 rounds anymore. So he was kind of the guy who kind of worked his way up. He got to every level except for the majors. So we would always follow him throughout college, from what I can remember, his minor league days. And one year we went down to spring training in Bradenton, Florida, where he and the Pirates would play. His roommate for a couple spring trainings was Josh Bell, he's been bouncing around a couple teams, but he's an MLB All-Star. And then I forgot what year it is, but when the All-Star game was in Cleveland, Josh Bell was selected to do the home run derby, and John was the first guy that Josh called to pitch to him in the home run derby. So John pitched to him in the home run derby. I can't remember if they won a round or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that experience, he kind of talks about a lot. In his basement, he's got a lot of kind of memorabilia and cool gear from the All-Star game. So being down there in his basement, which is all baseball stuff, it's like you go everywhere. There's different bats from Josh Bell, from different players from his teammates who are now big leaguers. That kind of just seeing that and being in the realm of some really cool Major League Baseball players now is very inspiring, and memories that I look back upon. I'm like, wow, like I met a guy like Josh Bell, or I saw a guy like Aaron Judge who was saying like me and you distance. Yeah. So that his experience in his playing career is something where I became not only a fan of the game, but something I inspired to reach with my part of the game. So his kind of contribution to my baseball career and my kind of just life in general has really impacted not only me, but a lot of athletes around this area in such a positive way.
So your dad has wicked ties to Hilton, as do I. Is John the deepest guy in our baseball program and that went the farthest in?
I want to say so. There's guys like John. There's guys like Coach Me's kids, Corey and Ryan Me, who had gone far. I'm pretty sure Corey went to Notre Dame, played 4 years there, and I'm pretty sure he got drafted by the Dodgers.
I think so. You're right.
Yeah. I don't know how long his professional playing career lasted, but guys like Corey and Ryan have gone through the ranks. I'm sure there's guys even before Corey and Ryan who's gone farther. I would have to ask my grandfather about that one, because he's probably the one that has seen him. But other than John, I can't really think of others who've gone that far.
Well, I appreciate you bringing up the history of other players, but this is your podcast, and I'm titling yours Mixing It Up with Michael. You're just coming off your freshman season at LeMoyne, and I got some stats here in front of me. Your team's overall record was 22 wins, 27 losses, and 1 tie. Conference, you were 15 wins and 17 losses. You're referenced as Mike Whelehan, which is interesting to me because I've always known you as Michael.
Yeah.
I know your father is Mike. 1, 2, and I can count down 2, even though I was 3rd grade. You batted 3rd best on the team with a 300 average. Before we get to some of the other numbers here, baseball is, explain what that transition was from high school ball to college at the Division I.
Yeah, it was a lot different, and there's a moment in time that really stuck with me that I was like, wow, this is different. There was our first fall practice coming in, pretty sure it was probably like 5 days after our first classes, and we're just rolling through practice, and just the speed of practice from high school to college was very different. Like the speed is just go, go, go all the time, nonstop for pretty much an hour 30, 2 hours. Whereas opposed to our high school practices, we do a drill, or we do kind of like we'd run through like first and third plays, bump plays, and then we stop, and then we talk about it, and then we go on the next thing. College ball, you're kind of like, okay, you're going to do this. You're not going to talk about it. You're going to go right to the next thing, and then you're going to go right into the next thing, and then you're going to go right into hitting. And then after hitting, you're going to go right on the field. You're going to shag. You're going to do all your defensive work while other players hitting. So the college practices and the college kind of baseball routine is very quick, and it's something I had to adapt to very quickly as well. Me coming in, it was me along with 8 other freshmen. I just remember us in our dorm rooms after first practice, like, oh my god, this was really quick. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this for 6 weeks, and we're go. And then all the upperclassmen who have been really programmed, who have been used to it, are kind of like, look, it'll slow down. You'll get used to it. You guys are going to make a mistake, but let those mistakes be a learning experience for you to build on that. Coaches expect you're going to make a mistake. You're new to the program. You're new to the whole college baseball experience. Let them happen, learn from it, and move on. And so that was pretty much the main difference between high school and freshman year of college. We just finished my sophomore fall ball practices, and just kind of like looking back now, I'm like, it's a lot easier. It was a lot I was used to it. I was able to learn from freshman year. I'm like, okay, this is what it is. How can I now help the freshmen that we have now? Mm-hmm. So that I kind of took that leadership role into perspective, where I'm like, this was me a year ago. I'm going to make sure that they feel just as comfortable as I did after the first week of practice, after the first day of practice. So fall ball in any practice in the college level is a lot faster, a lot more in depth, and a lot more kind of precise. I want to say is probably the right word, where you're kind of go on the fly, but you have to be very precise and very legitimate with kind of what you're doing.
That was very interesting how you answered that question, because when I asked what was the transformation between high school and college, you didn't go to games, you went to practices.
Yeah.
And, I'm reading through it saying, like, you have to prepare more to get to the games, if you're not preparing right. It's also interesting that you said things are so much faster.
Yeah.
Because I always thought Hilton practices, you guys did a lot in your 2 hours, too. Mm-hmm. You know what Coach Me did and your father. So you're preparing for, the season to start. Where did your first games, where were they? Were they up north or were they down?
They were down south. We started our first series in Houston, Texas. We played Houston Christian University, who's coached by, I think he's gone now from that program, but at the time they were coached by Lance Turkman, MLB All-Star, played for the Cardinals, Astros. I think he won a World Series with them. So it was going down to Houston, Texas, and ironically enough, we get down there and it's freezing. It's mid-February. Our Saturday game, we're walking to the field and it's probably 50 degrees with just howling winds. And I remember, I think I had a base hit that game, and I somehow got on second. I looked at their shortstop. I'm like, is this normal? And he's like, this is the coldest game I've ever played in my life. I'm like, jeez, welcome to Texas. But, yeah, so we went down south, played them, and then next weekend we went to Radford, Virginia, played at Radford University. And the following weekend we went to St. Louis, played St. Louis University. And then after that weekend was conference. So then we were playing games kind of back in the Northeast region, which at the start of it in May is freezing. But at the same time, it's kind of an attest to who we are, like who the Northeast kind of is. Like that's the baseball that you're going to get. You're going to get low run games, low hit games, just because of the temperature. That's just kind of how it is. And kind of just the perspective of playing in the cold kind of shapes our culture, just as a gritty kind of nose down, hard nosed team, where despite the conditions, we're still going to try to find a way to beat you. We're not going to complain about it. We're used to it. We're going to deal with it. So that's kind of, even if we go down south, we try to get a couple warm days, but we didn't, fortunately, and we were kind of used to it. We go to Houston Christian, a team who's better than us on paper, probably either way, but we took a game or two out of that series, and the 2 or 3 games that we lost were all walk-offs, unfortunately. So we were right there with them. But it's kind of just a test to our team and that season, just a gritty, kind of hard-nosed team that's coming up into a new division, a new kind of conference. Teams don't really know who we are, and we kind of, midway through the year, we kind of got beat up with injury-wise, and then kind of took a toll from there, which is unfortunate. But early in the season, we were kind of right there with those upper-level teams being new. So we were kind of gritty, very tough, hard-nosed, I want to say. We didn't have the best talented players, but we had the hardest working, the hardest. We had the hardest working players on the field, I believe, at all times. So that's kind of where we got our success. Wasn't really beating teams with skill, but we kind of were beating them with kind of more mental toughness, I want to say. So.
Now, you're great because you're telling me all the stuff about your teams and everything. Yeah. I also want to find out individually, what was it like that first game, going out in the field, or that first day in the batter's box, that first hit that you got?
Yeah, so kind of going into the game, we got to the field a bit early, and they let us on the field just to kind of take more ground balls, get used to the field and the conditions of the field. And all throughout practices leading up to it, I was going to short. And our shortstop at the time was a 6-year shortstop who's been in the program for 6 years. So that's his spot. So I'm like, I'm going into this series thinking I'm going to be the backup shortstop. I think I'm not really going to play. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to try to make the most of it. So we go out, and I go behind our shortstop, and my coach is like, hey, go to second. I'm like, okay. So I go over to second. I take my reps. And I'm like, okay. And then he puts the lineup card up, and sure enough, my name's in there at second base. So I'm kind of like, sweet. All right, I'm starting at second today. Right. And then kind of just preparing for the game, I was like, all right, like, this is pretty cool, but I'm like, okay, we got to play a game now. Like, I don't know what to expect. This is my first actual college game. But I can remember, as soon as I was taking those warm-up ground balls before the first inning, like, this is a game I played forever. Like, it's the same thing, just at a different level, at a different field. So I kind of got comfortable very quickly. I remember my first at-bat facing a kid that was probably throwing 90, 92. Velocity that I've seen before that I haven't really consistently seen too much. So I was like, okay, this is going to be 90. I'm going to see probably a fastball. I'm hitting lower in the order, so I'm probably going to get a fastball. Sure enough, first pitch fastball, I followed it straight back. I'm like, okay, come on. And then next pitch comes in. Another fastball, kind of middle in, broke it right at the third baseman. He makes an unbelievable play, throws me out at first. I'm like, all right, that's pretty good barrel, pretty good base hit, even though I got out despite the result. Then my second at-bat was the same pitcher, I think. He started me off, I can remember the sequence, started me off with pretty sure it was a slider, low and away in the other batter's box that he kind of spiked. I'm like, okay, give me a slider, he's behind. He's going to want to get even. So I'm like, okay, here comes the fastball. Sure enough, I get a fastball, and I kind of just broke it right to right field for a nice base hit. I can remember rounding the base. I'm like, this is going to get by him. This is going to get in the gap. And sure enough, he cuts it off, and he comes up, throws behind me. I'm scrambling, crawling back to the base, trying to get saved. I made it safe, but I was like, all right, cool. That was the first hit. Now what? And I'm like, so now I'm on first. Sure enough, coach gets a steal sign. I'm like, okay, here we go. So steal second base, and then I'm pretty sure kid hits a double to score me. So I'm like, it went pretty quick, but it's something that I can remember very vividly, which is a cool kind of memory that I'll always have.
Were your parents in attendance, or did they have to watch?
They were. They came. I'm pretty sure it was maybe their fall break, or I'm sorry, their February break. Could have been the weekend before, but it was a weekend series, so they didn't have school or work or anything. So they flew down. They were able to watch, and of course, my mom records everything. So she sends me the video. I'm like, I always watch it too, because it's nice to see not only the hit, but like it being like your first college hit, and it's something that I've always dreamed of. I'm like, yeah, it's a really cool experience. So I kind of watched that video just as like an okay, kind of like a, not like a confidence builder, but kind of just a cool memory that I can always go back to. But yeah, the first thing they said was like, because it was in Texas, they were bundled up in winter hats, jackets. I'm like, they were like, this is not Texas. I'm like, I know it's frozen. But it was, then we go out to dinner and we had some Texas Out food. So sharing the memory with them too was kind of something I take as a really special moment. Because ultimately they're the people that have molded me into not only the player that I am, but the person I am. So having that memory with them really, if they weren't there, I feel like it wouldn't have been as special. Just having them there, it was a really special memory that I'm glad that they got to saw on, not only for me, but my family back home who was watching it live, who were kind of just texting me after, like, hey, that was awesome, great job. And I'm like, this is really cool, because they're the people that kind of pushed me to be the person that I am today. And now I'm kind of like, they're my motivation to kind of play well, keep doing well in school, sports, and just being the best family member and person I can be to them. So
they also watched it. They gave up a lot. They sacrificed a lot. So were your brothers there too, or were they watching?
They were not. They were watching from home. They were still in basketball season.
Okay.
So they were kind of watching from home. All the games are live streamed with live video, live stats. So they're watching every game. They're following up. Always the first phone call I make after a game is to my parents, my family. So they keep up, and it's cool too, because they try to make one or two kind of out of town games, and then LeMoyne only being an hour 45 minutes away, they can go on a weekend and catch our home series. So they keep busy with not only me, which I'm very appreciative of.
So you said that first at bat, your first hit, you had a stolen base, scored a run. Throughout the year, you had 28 runs, 42 hits, three of them doubles, 13 RBIs, with a slugging percentage of .321, 19 walks, and 947 fielding percentage. Not bad. I've been watching you field forever, and there wasn't a ground ball that you couldn't get to. Which some of those stats are you most proud of, and which are some of the things you always want to get better? But
yep.
Talk about them.
The batting average too. The batting average is always kind of the thing I look at. Really kind of tells me who I am as a hitter. There's a catch to the batting average too. There's days where I could go 0 for 4 with 4 lineouts, good hits. I just can't do anything about them because they were right at a guy. But there's days where I could also go 4 for 4 and get lucky. So the batting average kind of, I always look at it because it's probably the most important. Kind of tells you who you are as a hitter. But it really doesn't capture the whole picture sometimes, which in this season it did. There was only a couple of times where I'm like, man, I hit that hard this year, or I hit the ball hard this year, but I didn't really get rewarded for it. I'm like, okay, my batting average is going to drop a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. OPS OPS stands for on base plus slugging. I don't really know how to calculate it, but it kind of means with the total amount of bases you have. The higher you have, the more bases you accumulate throughout a season. So the OPS being in the 300s, I think, kind of attests to who I am as a hitter.
Okay.
Lower kind of on the OPS scale, but the on base percentage is kind of high. So, which means I'm a guy who's going to get base hits only, and I'm not really going to hit doubles, hit triples, hit homers. I didn't have zero. I had 0 home runs last year. I think I had like 3 or 4 doubles. But who I am as a hitter is really a guy who's not going to strike out a ton. A guy who's going to put the bat on the ball and make the defense make a play. Which as an offense, that's kind of, especially from Hilton and at LeMoyne too, that's who we preach. Put the ball in the play. Don't strike out a ton. Make the defense make a play. Put the pressure on the defense. And so yeah, like that was my whole goal throughout the year, was just kind of be the guy who is going to tough on at bat, who's going to not strike out too much, but a guy who can get on base and make something happen for the other guys who are hitting either in front of me or behind me. So, and then obviously going into this year, like I put on a couple pounds, I put on some strength, maybe get that OPS number up a little bit, because it's pretty fun to hit some home runs once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of just accumulates who I am as a hitter per se. A guy who's just gonna scrap and claw however much you can, just foul off some tough pitches. You're gonna strike out inevitably, but at the same time, it's like, okay, let's try on this at bat. Let's make something happen for the guys behind me, and they can do kind of the work themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the guys behind me. I haven't seen it before. Guys in front or behind you. Where did you bat in the order, and did you fluctuate throughout the year?
Yeah, so started off in the bottom of the order, hit 9, kind of 9, 8 hole, kind of there. Being the guy who, it's weird because you think that, oh, you're hitting the 9 hole, he's probably one of your weaker hitters, a guy that you kind of just go at. With me having a high batting average, it kind of set up to get a guy on base in the bottom of the order. I had the top of the order, had the big guys that are at the top of the order kind of do the work with their bat and kind of create some magic. But yeah, hit 9 pretty much throughout the whole year until a couple series, kind of midweek games where I'd move up to like 6, where I'd move up to 2, where I'd move up to, I don't know, like 5. This whole fall, I batted leadoff. So throughout my whole high school career, throughout pretty much my whole youth career, I hit leadoff. Yeah. So there's kind of catches with hitting leadoff, like you're the first guy, you want to set the tone. But what I really liked about the bottom of the order was you saw the pitcher the longest. Which in the dugout, I'm like, okay, I can figure out his release point on a fastball. I can figure out his release point on a curveball. I can see how my teammates have reacted to kind of some of the pitches, how they handle their at bat. So I kind of can get the most information on a pitcher the longest when you're hitting the 9-hole, which a lot of people don't really think about it that way.
No.
But that's the way that I thought about. Like it kind of gave me a little confidence too, being a freshman who's playing every day but doesn't really know how to like set the tone yet as a newcomer. I was like, okay, I'm comfortable here hitting the 9-hole, being able to see the pitch the longest, and kind of those at bats early in the game where I'm like, where I'm hitting fastballs kind of early. It's like because I've seen them for 8 or 9 batters, which was very kind of indicative of how the season went. Pitchers, the part of the game that I always try to keep simple is my approach. Pitchers' approach, they'll tell you, is always to get ahead. So they're going to do whatever they can to get ahead, which means they want to throw a strike. As hitters, we want to hit those strikes. So as a person who hits in the 9-hole, who has seen them for the longest, pitcher wants to get ahead. He's going to throw a strike. I want to hit a strike. I'm going to hit him early. So that's where I always kept my approach simple. And usually in the 9-hole, and looking at my size, I'm 5'10", 175. They see me as kind of a weaker kid that's not going to beat the outfielders over their head. So what I try to do is just focus through a hole where the defense was. And throughout the year, kind of midway through the year, I was doing that very consistently, very well. And throughout the year, that's kind of where our bottom of the order took pride in, kind of just making those at-bats, kind of grinding out those at-bats, getting on base for our top guys to make those hits happen, which they do consistently. That's where we scored runs, and that's where we'd win our games, kind of that midpoint here.
I never thought about that, being in the 9-hole. Sometimes guys are like moping, I'm not going to get as many at-bats, but you said, no, I get to see the pitcher more and more and more. Talk a little bit about your head coach. Who is that?
Yeah, so Scott Cassidy, he's been, I don't know how long he's been at it. He's probably been at it for 20-plus years. He played college baseball at LeMoyne, went to high school in the Syracuse area, played college baseball at LeMoyne, then he ended up getting drafted playing professionally. Pitched in the majors for 3 different teams. I want to say like 4 or 5 years. Pitched for the Red Sox, Padres, maybe the Blue Jays. So he's a professional pitcher who, after his playing career, came back to his alma mater. He's been the coach ever since. So it's nice too, knowing that you're going to practice every day with a big leaguer.
Sure.
Kind of, he's been around big leaguers his whole career, and he knows the game very well. He was a pitcher, but he also knows the game from a defensive standpoint, from an offensive standpoint. He's got some really good information. They're just kind of like as a true full baseball coach, and he's got a very calming presence to him that I really like about him. Like he'll fire you up when he thinks you need to be fired up a little bit, but will also let you go, which is what I really like about him. And along with the other 2 coaches, we have 2 assistant coaches. One of them was our GA, who I think is on staff full time. His name is Robbie Spagnola. He's very good with offensive and defensive kind of mechanic wise. That I love him too. He's very high energetic, knows what he's talking about. And then our other assistant coach, who I've made the most connection with, his name is Mike Mueller Jr. He played at SUNY Brockport, his college, throughout his college career. And his coach in college was Oregon.
Okay.
So that's where I made that connection with him. And through what Mike teaches, I already kind of knew it from the jump, because he teaches a lot of what coaching would teach. That's where I made that connection with him. So the whole coaching staff as a whole is very good. I've been nothing but appreciative of them and all their work, and they know the game to a very high extent, which I'm very happy of too, because I can go in on a day where I'm struggling. They're the first ones help. They know exactly what's going wrong, how to fix it, and they will stay and work with me and my teammates as long as possible. So they've been great. Their energy and just their passion for the game and LeMoyne baseball is through the roof. They're the best.
Got a follow-up question.
Sure.
Was it Mike Mula Jr.?
Mike Miola Jr. Yeah.
Okay, and you said he's very similar to Coach Me and stuff.
Yeah.
What are some of those things that he coaches like that you've already been exposed to
Yeah.
through?
Just Coach Me is very old school.
Mhm.
Very old school. And sort of some of the drills that I did in high school with Coach Me, he will implement with us. So I
Okay.
kind of was ahead of the ball game with that.
Mhm.
Going in where I'm like, okay, I've done it before with Coach Me. So, and then he kind of, and just kind of the way the coaching style that they both coach at are very similar. And it's
Okay.
something that I have comfort with, obviously,
Right.
when I go to play, when I go to practice. So
Did you know that prior to going to that school?
I did. That was really one of the main reasons why I love LeMoyne. Not only for the school, the community, the campus, but the connection with the baseball was mainly because of Coach Miola and his connection with Rockport, where my dad played at,
Mhm.
where my dad coached at, and then where Coach Me has coached at. So that was my connection with the coaching staff, along with the rest of LeMoyne community in itself. So,
Talk to us a little bit about the facilities there at LeMoyne.
Sure. So we don't have a football team. So we have a soccer field, lacrosse field, all of our soccer, lacrosse, play on that. And then right next to it is our baseball field. Our field is a natural field. We don't have a turf field. We have softball fields on the other side, and then we have in kind of the center of the athletic side of campus is our athletic gym. So we don't have too many sports. Like we don't have football, we don't have hockey, we don't have wrestling. So we kind of all the sporting arenas or venues, I should say, are right on campus, and that kind of attests to not only what I like with the community is that all of LeMoyne students, whenever there's a game, they come out and support because everything's right there. So it's basically the whole campus is basically dorms on one side, academic buildings on the other side, and then all the athletic venues are behind it. So,
do you have a strength and conditioning coach too?
yep, we do.
Okay.
We do strength and conditioning in the fall. We go 3 to 4 days. We go in. We kind of have 2 time slots. Half a group goes in at one time, another group goes in at the other time, and it kind of is molded around practice and class schedules. So we go in 3 to 4 times with him. He's great. A lot of it is performance-based movements, where it's not really how much you can put up on the bench press, how much you can put up on the squats. It's more kind of movement-based exercises based off what baseball players do. So it's kind of like explosive movements, a lot of mobility and stuff. People really don't move as well as they want to. So the mobility part is very important in baseball-wise too. So he's great. Even our athletic training staff is awesome. They're very personable. They obviously they'll get you healthy, but other than that, the part that I really like about them is that you can go up and have any conversation you want with them outside of sports. You can go have an academic conversation with them. You can go have if you have any like mental struggle, you can go to them. Even though they're not professionals in that mental aspect, they're more body based. They're very personable and it's a connection that I go as a safe place. Like if I'm struggling or if I need just someone to talk to, it's those people in the athletic training kind of area. Even the coaches throughout the other sports, like there's one hallway in the athletic center where all of our locker rooms and all the coaches' locker rooms are. So a lot of the coaches and a lot of the players are kind of going back and forth. So like men's basketball coach will always be like, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" They'll be talking to us about our season. We'll be talking about their season, just kind of all the sports. So it's very within the athletic department throughout all sports. It's very close knit. We all keep tabs on each other's seasons, which is really important in an aspect. But it's also really great knowing that you have people outside of your sport that you can go to.
Elite athletes understand other elite athletes.
Right.
Were you healthy this year, or did you have to visit the trainer at all for physical?
Yep, I had to visit the trainer this year, or this past year. Kind of with 2 weeks left in the season, I had a knee injury. It was kind of a freak how it happened. we were doing fly ball drills in practice, and I was at second base, and ball comes up. It's kind of at me. The wind's kind of blowing towards the third base line, third base dugout. So it's right at me. I'm looking up. I'm running. I don't see the mound. So I kind of run up the mound, and I kind of tweak my knee. And so we were working with him. My knee was swollen for a good 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Got an MRI. There's 2 bone bruises, kind of deep bone bruises are pretty good. That kind of altered the way I walk. So what we know for sure is that there were 2 bone bruises in my knee. Possible meniscus tear, we don't really know. The MRI showed a lot of swelling around that area, so they couldn't see it clearly. But with my athletic trainer, the one who's specialized with the baseball team, I was in there a lot at the end of the year, and even towards the summer where I was playing summer ball for a different team, no connection with LeMoyne whatsoever, but I would still text and call him every day, every other day, pretty much, just to kind of keep him in touch with how I'm progressing. And then he would be like, okay, so here's what you're going to do. Go to some PT. If it doesn't get better, then we might do this. But if it does get better, then we'll do this. And then, so he would, even throughout the summer when we're not at school, he's still keeping in touch with me about how I'm progressing, which is something that, you don't really get anywhere else. You can, like, your season might end and he might end kind of what he's doing with you. But I was very grateful for him to keep in touch with me throughout the summer, where he kind of got me right. And then midway through the summer, I was good. So everything now is healthy.
Okay, good. That was going to be my last.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about the Division I switch with LeMoyne and everything. Talk to our viewers, listeners, what it was like switching and what happened with university, what they had to do.
So the baseball program, and I want to say either the lacrosse program or the soccer program, about the baseball program and the soccer and lacrosse program has always been Division I in the MAC, the Metro Athletic Conference. But all of our other sports program were Division II at the time in the NE10 conference. So the MAC essentially was like, hey, if it's either all of your programs come up, but if they don't, you guys got to go down. So essentially, the money-wise, we didn't work out. So baseball had to go back down. So all of our sports were competing Division II in the NE10 for, I want to say, 8 to 10 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then just recently, this past year, we made the switch back up to Division I in the Northeast Conference. So we played our first season in the NEC last year. A lot of our programs did very well. And going into this year, a lot of our programs are kind of preseason ranked to do very well. And there's a couple programs right now. Our men's soccer team is doing really good. I think swimming's kind of getting underway. Track and field has been doing well. So there's a lot of programs, despite coming up into Division I, there's a lot of programs that have been thriving kind of that new environment, which is very, very good to see.
What's the baseball program got coming back? Did you graduate a lot of guys last year?
We graduated about, I think, 8 guys. So
Okay.
We got a lot of returners, but we have, I want to say, 15 new faces. 10 of them being freshmen, 5 of them being transfers. A lot of our team last year was very old and experienced. With the new, with the COVID rules that kind of affected the amount of years of eligibility. We had 2 6 years. We had a couple 5th years. On the team last year who have now graduated. So it's kind of, we have some returners, but we have a lot of our team as new faces. And this fall, we really kind of going in, our coaches were like, let's hope this works. Let's hope they can kind of mesh well. But from day one, we kind of just meshed really well. And it led to a very good fall. So there's some new faces this year who have kind of adapted to the environment quickly. Who a lot of them are going to make an impact very quickly on our team. So working day in and getting to know them personally has created a lot of friendship, a lot of teammate kind of love and respect for each other. So a lot of our freshmen, a lot of our new faces are going to fit right in and mold. And hopefully, I think we should have the opportunity to be a lot better than what we were last year, which last year we did pretty solid for it being our first year. But now we're kind of going in with a statement like, we know what to expect. We want to kind of make an impact and kind of open some eyes in our conference. So
In terms of positioning field, are you planning on playing second again, or
Yeah, so
whatever the coach tells you?
yeah, kind of whatever the coach tells me. Didn't know what to expect last year. Ended up playing second base every day. Might move me to short this year. Might stay at second. Might go to third base. I really don't know. So throughout the fall, we've been kind of going to different places, learning each position, getting better at each position. And even kind of midway through the season, it'll be like, hey, go play short today. And then the next day, it's like, hey, go play second today. So it's kind of a lot of our infielders, from what I've been working with, we're very good athletes. They can kind of put us anywhere on the field, and we'd be okay. So in terms of where I'll play this year, it's probably going to be somewhere in the infield. I just don't know which one exactly, and it could change day to day. So be prepared for anything.
Did you say LeMoyne has an all-grass infield?
Yep. So we got natural field, which up north it's tough.
It's rare. Is that rare?
It's really rare.
Yeah.
Like we go to fields like Canisius, who's got turf, Niagara, who's got turf, Binghamton, who's got an unbelievable turf. They got $60 million down there. I think there's probably a couple more that I can't think of, but we're one of the only natural fields up here in New York at the college level, at the Division I level, which shout out to our grounds crew guy. He does a very good job with the field. It's tough, too, because you have to maintain it throughout the winter and then early spring where it's still freezing, but he does a good job, which throughout the season we're grateful for, because teams that have him come to play on this turf, they're not very used to it, but when we're playing on our home field, it's an advantage for us because we know our field kind of in and out, which is nice, opposed to the teams that are coming in who have a turf field and they're just playing on grass, and they don't really know kind of like the ins and outs of our field as well as we do.
Explain to me in general, what's the difference between playing on turf versus
So turf obviously is a lot easier. Like there's not going to be a bad hop. Ball plays probably a little bit faster on turf, just because there's no kind of friction of the grass and soil kind of slowing it down. Turf, I like turf for the reason of it being a lot easier to field a ground ball, a lot easier to run on. But playing on grass and dirt, you get a bad hop at any point. You could. There's some fields that we played on our conference that are just not good. Where you got to kind of play the conditions, not knowing what hop you're going to get, not knowing if you're going to like misstep or something. Even in the outfield too, there might be like a little hole or a divot in there that you have to kind of play around. So it's definitely different going from a turf field to a grass field. I like the turf field, I like the natural field just because it kind of puts an emphasis on the game itself. Like, kind of has that sandlot feel where you're just sliding the second base or third base, and you got clean off your jersey. That's the part of the game that I like about it. But playing on turf, I'd say a lot easier in the aspect of you know what you're going to get.
Okay,
so
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You've covered a lot of your college game and everything. So we go back into high school. Explain a little bit about you were moved up as a freshman, correct? To the varsity. Talk about your freshman season in general.
Freshman year was nothing.
Yeah.
It was COVID. So I remember we got through tryouts and then maybe 2 days of practice, and then it was my father's first year being the varsity coach as well. But I remember just us sitting in Quest Elementary getting ready for practice, and my dad's like, "Hey, we're done." And so it was just like, whoa, like we're not playing this year. So it's crushing for those seniors too. A lot who I still have friendships with who didn't have that senior year, but we still kind of did a senior. I can remember doing like a senior ceremony on the field, kind of following those COVID guidelines that you had to keep a safe distance. But freshman year was really nothing, and it was a time too where I was like, okay, I'm not playing, but how can I make the most of it? So there was times where we're at home with my dad, my brothers, my mom, just kind of going in our basement, just kind of doing some just everyday thing where we have a bench press kind of thing, a makeshift bench press machine where you're just kind of lifting, doing stuff in the basement. Hitting that. We're just hitting to daily. But it was really nothing. But it was a time where I was like, okay, not doing anything, how can I make the most of it? And me and my brothers and my father just kind of came up with creative ways to kind of just stay connected into the game despite kind of the world pandemic, which it hit everyone in a different way. So freshman year was definitely
Nothing.
Right.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's tough because physically you couldn't play, but so mentally, because you still had 3 years coming back.
Right.
Sophomore year, talk a little bit about that year, team wise.
Yeah,
individual wise.
Sophomore year, I can remember we started kind of slow. We had some good players on our team. Just to name a few: Preston Prince, James Capilupo, Carter Clark, Tyler Sharami, Jake Soracone. We had a very good team on paper, and we kind of started off slow. And a couple practices in, I remember we didn't practice that day. We kind of just sat in the outfield, and we just kind of had a team kind of meeting talk where we just were like, hey, we know we're good, but we're not playing to it. We're a quarter of the way through the season. How are we going to put this? And we kind of came up with ways as to of thinking of ways of what we could do off the field to kind of build that chemistry, that team connection stronger. So we figured out ways to do that while staying in those COVID regulations because there's still COVID stuff going on. We'd go out to eat dinner before every game at the retreat, and that was kind of like a tradition that we kept going throughout my junior, my senior year. And I'm sure the guys, like my brothers up in varsity now, they still do it too. So it's kind of a tradition that we have kept rolling throughout these years. So, and then going into kind of the midway point, that was kind of our switch in the season where we started winning games. I want to say we had the 4 seed going into sectionals, and we rode that out into the sectional final. But the semifinal game was probably the most memorable game of my whole playing career. I played Webster Schrader at Webster Schrader. They were the 1 seed. We won that game 2-1 in 13 innings. So that game was crazy. Preston started that game, pitched, I want to say 7 innings, gave up 1 run, and then Carter Clark came in and pitched the rest, and he didn't give up any runs. So the pitching performance in that was really cool. And then in the top of the 13th, Preston had a double off the wall, got in second. We pinch ran for him. Kid was pretty quick. Jaden Rosario steals third on a kind of a ball that kind of the catcher misplays a little bit. So he steals third, and I'm up and facing a pretty good pitcher from Schrader. I'm in an 0-2 count, and I kind of put the bat on the ball. I chop it over his head, and I get the first safely. It was kind of the lucky hit. And then he scores, so it's 2-1, and we end up winning that game in 13 innings. So then we go to the sectional finals. We're playing Penfield, facing a kid by the name of Gage Seal, who pitched at Miami. He just got drafted this summer by the Yankees. Okay. So going into that game, we knew we were facing pretty big pitcher. I think that game, he was probably sitting like 95, 96. I can remember every pitch that he threw me in that game. He pitched a 1-hitter against us. We ended up losing like 4 or 5-0, I want to say. But despite the loss, kind of just looking back on that season was like, we knew we had the skill, but for some reason it wasn't working. And then we took a step back and we realized that we weren't working on the field because of our connection off the field. We were very distant from each other. But as soon as we came close off the field, that kind of led to that chemistry and that friendship on the field that really clicked that season. Clicked in that midway point throughout the year. And then we kind of rode that through that sectional run. And then we obviously ran into that dark horse on the mound that kind of gave it to us a little bit. But just looking back at that year, the connection that we made off the field molded that season on the field, and then it's something that we carried on for the other 2 years that I was there, and traditions that they still kind of hone on today.
So you got the retreat and all that. I totally forgot that you guys had made the finals that year in Schrader. And the thing is, who cares if you got lucky and it was a chopper?
Sure.
It still goes down as a hit.
That's right.
And obviously, it's interesting. You can remember every single pitch.
Yeah.
So that was your sophomore year. Any postseason awards for you on that, or any of your guys?
Yeah, I think I made in all county. I don't know if it was first team or second team. I can't really remember. Like guys like Preston, Carter, James, Cerami, Soricum, they made an all county team. Carter might have made an AGR. I think he did make an AGR that year. But yeah, that team too was kind of. I remember looking back in it and saying to James Capalupo, kind of going in the fall, I'm like, last year was the most fun I ever had playing baseball. Just that group, that connection that we made at that midway point really exposed the fun of the game for me, which is something that I still try to carry on today. Like, even though you might have bad days, you might have days where you fail, it's still baseball. It's still a fun game. And that team kind of alluded to the youth and that enthusiasm within the game itself.
It's interesting because your next two seasons, you were division winners too. Let's go into your junior season and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Because in terms of, from what I'm reading on paper, that was individually your highest accolade.
For sure.
Go ahead.
So junior year, I'll talk about team-wise first. We returned guys like Preston, Carter, James, myself. Then we had a couple new guys coming in from the JV, like your son, Michael, Joey Santa, Jeff Rawnax.
Stephen Krause.
Yep, he was there. Brady Garrett was there too. So that team was even better than the team that we had before. And we ended up winning the league. We won the league there, had the 1 seed going into the sectional, and then we ended up losing that game to Fairport in the quarterfinals, which in the moment it sucked. But at the same time, it's baseball. You run into a very good pitcher who's now a Division I pitcher at a school in South Carolina, who gave it to us. That game, I think, ended 2-1. I want to say, so a very low scoring game for an offense who was very good all year. We probably averaged like 5 to 6 to 7 runs a game that year. But you run into a pitcher that one game who just is pretty dominant and then kind of struggle to get a hit that game, and then that's that. That's just the unfortunate part about the sectional bracket. But in terms of me, that was kind of the year where playing wise I kind of took off. I think I hit like.
Well, I know exactly.
Sure.
So I did my research. You've added 459 with an on-base percentage of 554. 34 hits, 29 singles, 5 doubles, 27 runs, 13 walks, and 18 stolen bases. And from my vantage point, every time you were on first, you were on second. It was ridiculous. So those are the numbers. Go ahead and what you remember of that season.
I led off every game, hit in the one hole. So as I kind of mentioned earlier, game plan simple. Pitcher's going to want to get ahead. Try to hit that strike. So that's usually what I did. And then, you're right, I would turn a single into a double with a stolen base. So I kind of would get on first, and then the best time to steal second base is as soon as you get on first. And the best time to steal third base is as soon as you get on second. That's when the pitcher really doesn't expect anything to happen. So yeah, I would get on first base after a hit or a walk. I would get the steal sign, take off and go to second. I think I only got thrown out one time that year. I can't remember. And I remember, too, that stolen base. It was an iffy call. Could have been a 50-50 call, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, we turn a single into a double with a stolen base, and then guys like Stephen Krause, Carter Clark, those bigger guys who can drive a ball in the gap, there's our first run of the game. So we would strike early in those games where we get on base and then get a run early. And then that puts pressure on the other team. But yeah, what I can remember from that year is from my side is where I kind of took a big turn on the mental side of it, where I'm like, I got a year under my belt. I know what to expect. How can I make an impact quickly? And I came to realize that you can only do so much skill-wise, to the point where if you wanted to add that extra emphasis on your game, it's got to come from the mental side. So there's books, there was websites, there was a lot of research that went into the mental side of the game that I kind of just did on my own, kind of behind the scenes, that I didn't really talk about too much. So yeah, just going in, I would come up with kind of different like mantras and mottos that would kind of give me a inner confidence going into those games. And there's those same mantras I use today. And going into those at-bats, going into the field with that confidence, that extra confidence, it gives you all kind of what you need to do as a baseball player and any sport, for that matter. Just talking and just positive self-talk that I always give myself is like, okay, you got this. Let's go make it happen. And just that confidence will lead to success over time. So that's really where my game started to turn with the mental side, and those stats kind of that you read off kind of alluded to it. And then with the accolades that came after, the Player of the Year, AGR, first team, all AA, that was kind of just a very proud moment where I'm like, okay, like this is cool. This is what I worked for. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very fortunate for the teammates, the coaches, and everyone else along the way who was kind of molding me into that player that I was that year.
I think it also is proof that you are an elite player. Division One, I think, was it less than 1% of high school athletes actually move on to play Division One. I'm going to press you a little bit more. Talk to us some books, some websites, some mantras.
Sure, yeah.
You want to share with me any of those?
Yeah. So there was a article or a book that I read about Alex Rodriguez. He had a sports psychologist. He hired a sports psychologist who was basically hired to be with him every step of the way, through every at bat, through every play that he made in the field. So just kind of learning from his mantras and his kind of thought process, I kind of implemented in my game. Before every at bat, I have a piece of tape around my bat that says BTP. It stands for beat the pitcher. So I kind of take a couple deep breaths, kind of get my thoughts, and I look at it, I'm like, okay, beat the pitcher. Let's go do this. So I'll go up there. It gives me a lot of confidence, a lot of that. And then feeling wise, there's a couple that I use. I write it on the backside of my hat, kind of where the cap is. I say, or I write, see it, feel it, trust it. So it's kind of just a simple kind of saying that will get my head in the right space, where I'm not thinking about it too much, where basically all it is you see the ball, feel the ball, and you trust your ability to make a play. So they're simple mantras that give me confidence. And through that research, the more simple you make something, the better it is. Like the more simple, the better. So yeah, I just kind of would come up at night, just sitting in bed, just kind of thinking, what are some positive things that I can say to myself before I go to compete, in at bat and in the field. Even in basketball, I'd use a couple of those when I played, and so through a lot of research too, there's also another part that I implement into my bedtime routine. And it's kind of just whenever at night you kind of just sit there and you let your thoughts wander until you fall asleep.
Right.
And so mental visualization is something that people really kind of don't use. And it's something that I kind of use myself, to where I'm sitting in bed at night, no distractions, dark room, eyes closed, and my thoughts are just very focused and intentful on going through an at bat or going through a sequence in the field, where I'm just closing my eyes and I'm going through an at bat in very precise detail, where I'm imagining the color, like the jersey color I'm wearing, the cleats that I'm wearing, who's pitching, what team's pitching, what's the weather like, what's the jersey of the other team. Very precise detail to get it as close to game like as possible. You run through an at bat a couple times. Okay, so like I'd envision, okay, first pitch fastball, here it is, take it. So I'd see it. I'm like, okay, if I get it again, I'm gonna hit it. Then go through the next pitch, fastball, you swing it, you imagine it going to, let's say, right center field, and then you imagine yourself rounding first base, sliding into second base, and you're like, yes, I did it. And that gives you the confidence. And it gives you the confidence for when you do it in the game. You are stepping in that box where, like, okay, I've seen it before. I've seen it in my head before. This is kind of that exact scenario of what I've prepped for mentally in my head. If I get the fastball, I know what it looks like. From the mental visualization part of it. If I get it, I'm going to do it, and I try to just kind of calm myself down and focus on doing what I've already trained my brain to kind of think about. So there's times where I'll sit in bed at night and just kind of go through a couple of bats, a couple plays in the field, and then if the scenario approaches me during the actual game, I have the confidence because I feel like mentally that I've already done it before. So that's where, through research of the mental side, has really kind of implemented that confidence piece in my game, in my abilities to make a play or create something along the lines of an action. So,
Mental visualization, we teach that in school too. As kids start to read chapter books, that you have to picture what you're reading. Do you know how many Hilton baseball players are going to BTP on their bats this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe something in the back. So that was your junior season. You got first team AGR Division I Player of the Year for AA, correct?
Yep.
And then senior year, we can do a truncated version of that.
Sure.
Not the most
senior
thing that you want to recall again.
For sure. Senior year was unfortunate. Derailed by injuries, a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Basketball season was going through that. Played varsity basketball for 3 years. Senior year comes along, and probably halfway through, we got to our holiday tournament, and I remember it. Playing Greece Athena, about the third quarter, I take a charge. I'm like, ooh, back kind of hurts, like my low back. So I got up. I'm like, okay, I'll just shake it off. I'll keep playing. And then going into halftime, like, ooh, it's really tight. Like I can't really run without it hurting. And so going into the third quarter, we're running out of bounds play, and it's a play where I kind of get the ball kind of near the basket from out of bounds. Pass kind of goes above my head. I kind of reach for it. My back kind of twists away, and it just locks. So I throw myself on the wall, and I'm on the ground until that ball's called. So the trainer comes over, and he's like, "What's going on? Like, my back's tight. Can't move." So he gets me up. We're trying to stretch it. Nothing's happening. So then I remember the next morning trying to put my clothes on because we got a next day, and I'm like, I can't put my socks on because I can't bend over. So I'm like, Dad, I need you to put my socks on for me. He goes, what? I go, I can't put my socks on. And he goes, why? And I'm like, my back, like, it's so stiff to the point where I can't bend over. But I couldn't even walk. So it sucked too because my senior year is my last chance to play for two programs, baseball and basketball, that have really shaped my life in a perspective. So with a trainer and PT, we got it to 2 weeks where it was tolerable. I wouldn't say it was great by any means, but it was tolerable. So we kind of finished that season out, the basketball season, with very high back pain. But looking back, I'm like, there's no regrets. I would have played with any amount of pain just to finish out my senior year in that basketball program. And then the time between when basketball ended and when baseball started was just grinding out PT, grinding out with the athletic trainer, just to get my back healthy for baseball season. We got healthy to the point where it was more than tolerable. Like there's times where I could still feel it, but it didn't really have an effect on my playing kind of style. Then baseball rolls around. We start off our season in Myrtle Beach at the Ripping Experience. First game, it was crazy too because I can remember this so vividly. I can remember a lot of things vividly.
It's that mental visualization
for sure.
coming through.
For sure. But we were playing this team out of Kentucky, and they had a very good lefty on the mound, kind of set 88. I think he was going some Division I program at pitch. But yeah, like I always do, get ready for my bat, my neon deck circle, just timing them up, go up to bat, hit a lead off. And like I say, he's going to try to get ahead. I'm going to go hit that strike. Sure enough, he throws a fastball, kind of middle out, foul it off, and I'm like, ooh, something in my hand kind of just popped. And I'm like, okay, kind of stepped out, didn't think anything of it, got back in. I think I had a nice line drive to second base and right at him. And then I finished out the rest of that game. And the next morning, I woke up and I kind of just like went to press myself out of bed, and the pressure that my hand kind of had when I was getting up like hurt like really bad.
Your left hand.
Yeah. So got up, went to practice. We had practice that day, and didn't think anything of it until I picked up a bat, and then I kind of squeezed the bat. I'm like, like I can't really squeeze it. Took a couple swings, and then I remember swinging and just throwing my bat down and just grabbed my hand. So we, after that, called the athletic trainer again at Hilton, who just fixed my back. I'm like, hey, got a hand injury now. He's like, okay. So we go get MRI, X-ray.
In South Carolina? Or
no, we came back home, yep. got an X-ray, MRI, and there was like ligament damage. There was muscle strains. Could have been a slight hairline fracture, but the MRI didn't pick it up because there's so much swelling. But we really didn't know. So 2 weeks go by, I'm in a brace, and I'm at the point now where I'm having conversation with my dad, with the athletic trainer. I'm like, Dad, I'm not doing this again. I'm not missing my senior baseball season. Just as much as I miss part of my senior basketball season. My dad's like, all right, you want to go? Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get on the field, even despite my non-functional hand, to finish out the year. So we came up with a way to get me back on the field where he put me in the lineup, but being a middle infielder, you play with a smaller glove, and the impact of the ball hitting the smaller glove, it would always hit me right in the palm. So every time I would catch a ball, field of the ground ball, the impact of the ball hitting the glove in my hand killed me. So what we did was, I was like, how about outfield? My dad was like, you got an outfield glove? I'm like, yeah, I do. And so we put the bigger glove on where I'm able to catch the ball kind of in the web. It's not really catching my hand. Felt fine. So my dad was like, you want to play center field? I'm like, yep, I'm playing center field. So went to finish out the last 3 weeks playing center field. I would still hit. I'm pretty sure I hit like 8, 9 holders in the bottom of the order.
Right.
And every time I'd swing, my teammates will still tell me this. I would swing and I'd scream like, and every time, like even my friends in the stands were like, we could hear you, like we know you're in pain. I'm like, I know, but like I'm still gonna.
Could he DH for you, or you already DH for somebody else?
No, I was playing center field, so I was still able to hit for myself.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Keep going.
So yeah, every time I swing, it was in pain. So I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna lay down a bunt. So I just lay down a bunt. Sometimes I get in first. Sometimes there's a sacrifice situation where I'm just moving the guy. I'm just trying to do whatever I can to physically stay in the game despite kind of the injury. So yeah, the senior year was really unfortunate with injuries, but it also, just taking a step back from it, the time where I was out, again, kind of where junior year comes into my senior year, was where I'm like, okay, I can't play physically. How am I going to stay in the game mentally? Right. So mental side was like, okay, I can't do anything physically. How can I keep myself in mentally, even though these thoughts are kind of like, geez, I wish I could play. Like, I wish I was healthy. Kind of attested to just staying true to who I am and just being the best teammate I can be possible. There's nothing I can do physically, but I will work to be the best teammate I can on the field. So I took into tuition that I was going to be the best teammate, and I was going to be the first guy out of the dugout, first guy off the bench, giving my teammates high fives, telling them good job. Right. Because that's the exact same thing they do to me. So that's the least I could do. And then there's nights where I'm like, again, I don't know when I'm going to play. I don't know if I'm going to play. I'm going to test the mental side. So I keep that routine, the mental visualization when I get the chance. And despite going up there with the mental block in my head saying like, hey, my hand's dysfunctional, this is going to hurt, I still have the confidence piece because I still visualized it prior to the game. So despite the injury, that was another year where I was like, okay, I'm going to take my game to the next level mentally, which really shaped from my senior year going into my freshman year of college. So that the mental side really helped me throughout my high school career, despite all the accolades, which they're very nice and humbling. But as a player and as a person, my biggest accomplishment for me that I can kind of allude to when thinking about my high school career was figuring out my game, which is stuck with me to this day as I'm playing throughout college. So.
Kind of answer my next question. Yeah. What would you say to that high school athlete that's in their senior year that does come up with an injury?
Sure.
Right at crunch time of their favorite sport.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. It's not the most ideal thing, but the least you can do is be there for your friends, your teammate, and your family who has molded you into that person you are today. The best way to do it is to distract yourself with a lot of different things. You can, obviously, we would go to dinners and stuff. That would be a good mental distraction. You would go to practice, and you would be the one that's being the most enthusiastic for your teammates, just kind of distracting yourself from that. Keeping in the game, too, like, I kind of took of it as a way to think of the game like a coach would, being like my dad. Like I'd sit on the bench, or I'd sit in the dugout or on the bench, thinking like, what would my dad do here in this situation? What would Coach Prince do here in this situation? Just kind of think of it that way. Even though, despite your injury, like it's gonna suck, but grind that PT, grind that work with the athletic trainer. Ultimately, you're gonna get back to playing at some point.
Right.
But just continue to stay positive, because those negative thoughts are just going to drown you down. And then if you do get the opportunity to get back, if you stay positive, you're going to find that you did the work prior mentally to get in the best position possible for when you return. So simply, I just say stay positive, be the best teammate you can, and try to find ways to distract you mentally, but also take the mental part and work through it when you get the opportunity to come back to play.
So your team ended up you won the division that year again.
Yep.
Got bumped in the first round of sectionals. Talk a little bit about winning that Oremy Award, because that doesn't go to the most valuable player.
Sure.
But what was the criteria?
So Coach Me, obviously, he's been around the program for forever. He coached my dad. My grandfather was an assistant coach, helped him coach. So and I'd see it every day, especially from being like 5, 6, 7 years old, where I'm watching him kind of obviously coach, but the stuff he did outside of baseball, where he would be the first one to be like, hey, how are you? How's your day going? He would be the first one at the field every day. He'd be the last one to leave the field every day. That's something where I'm like, yep, that's the person who I've got to be. I've got to be. And it was easy for me too, because being the coach's kid, you're forced to kind of be the first one at the field. You're forced to be the kind of the last one to leave. But during those times, there was Coach Me, where I would get to the field early with my dad, and he was the first one to be like, hey, get a glove, let's do this drill. And then after practice, be like, hey, get a bat, let's do this drill. Just kind of get that extra work in. But yeah, getting that Oremy Award, like if you look at the plaque that there's a lot of prestigious names on there. Like John Schwinn's on there. Guys who I played with, like a Tyler Cerami is on there. Those guys did the little things correct. And those guys did the little things the right way. And despite all the accolades and despite all what they did on the field, it's what they did off the field that really was important to the team and to the community as well. So that Oremy Award was very special, and it's very cool to see too, just because having the impact that Oremy had on not only me but my dad, my grandfather, and my brothers. It's very special to have an award under his name, because he did the little things the right way, still does the little things the right way. So it's a person who I am very inspired by, a person who motivates me every day, who is always checking up on me weekly, saying, hey, how's practice going? How are you feeling? Something like that. So having that award is a very good honor.
Talked a little bit about being the coach's kid.
Yeah.
And you've always played for your dad, even when you were younger, basketball, baseball. You've always performed. What was it like, though, being that coach's kid?
It was awesome, to be honest with you. It was, because, like I said, you were forced to go early, you were forced to stay late. But at a young age, I can remember when he was the freshman basketball coach, like I would be at every one of his practices just getting shots up on the side. When he was coaching baseball with Coach Murphy and Coach Me, I would get there early. He'd hit me ground balls. He'd hit me, or he'd flip me. He'd throw me BP. And then getting another part of the accolades that is my favorite is when I won Player of the Year and he won Coach of the Year. It's kind of it's that special kind of connection where I'm like, he helped me become the player I am today. He's the reason why I got this award, and it was very awesome to see that he got the Coach of the Year award too. There were times where I'm like, I don't want to go on this car ride right now, because he might say something to me that I don't like, and I'm gonna get mad. But at the same time, there's that expectation where he knows my strength, he knows my weaknesses. If I'm not doing something that's not the right way, if I'm not running down the line hard, if I'm not putting my best effort in, he's going to let me know. And it's because he ultimately wants the best out of me.
Exactly.
So that that's where I was very appreciative of being that coach's kid. And I also know, being that coach's kid, I also know how to respond to tough coaching. A lot of guys don't know how to respond to tough coaching. They either cave in and give up, or they use that as motivation. I always, just being the coach's kid, naturally use it as motivation. Which was perfect, because at a young age I was a guy who would get frustrated very quickly if something didn't happen. And like, if I didn't do well, I would hear it from him. I'm like, okay. And then once I got into kind of the modified to the JV to the varsity level and out throughout college, I know how to handle it. I wouldn't kind of cave in. I'd be like, okay, how can I learn from it? And then I'm going to use it to motivate me throughout the next practice, next rep even. Like today, he'll even say something. He'll watch my at-bats or something. He's like, your hands are dropping, your hands are casting. I'm like, yep, he's right. Like, you're right. I'm going to go back and fix it. So even today, like, I'll go to like his practices, his fall ball practices with varsity team. I'll go in early, I'll hit with him, and I'll stay after and take ground balls with him. So he's always the one that's putting in the extra work with me. So that connection of being the coach's kid is something that I'm very proud of that happened, and it's something that I never regret having. It's something that there's times where I'm like, I wish he was still in the dugout, kind of coaching me now. It's always awesome to see him kind of. There was one time where I was playing at LeMoyne, playing at second base. The way our field is structured, on the left field side, there's a little hill that where kind of everyone sits. It's a nice view, and him and my mom always stand at the top, and I make an error. It was kind of an error that I should have made, and then like I looked up.
Not too many. I got
right. Yeah, it was a play I should have made, and I kind of looked up and just you could tell that he was like, disappointed. I was like, oh, man.
Right.
But yeah, he still coaches me today with baseball stuff, but he doesn't. It's not just the baseball stuff that I'm very appreciative. It's the life stuff that he teaches me about. It's something that he's the first one I call after a practice, after a game every day, where he's always texting me like, hey, how's practice today? And then he'll call me and be like, hey, what do you guys do at practice that I can implement in my practices? So we always talk baseball, but we always talk about just things about life, just random stuff, like our struggles throughout life. If I'm having a tough day, he's the one that's going to calm me down. Same with my mom, same with both my brothers. Just having that family connection within sports, but having that connection outside of sports too, is very special. He would always tell me, like, inside the baseball field, I'm your coach, but outside, I'm your dad. So we're gonna figure out how to make that different when you're playing in the field versus when you're outside the field. When you're outside the field, it's just me and dad. But if it's in the field, it's me and coach. And that was it's something that I wish to this day would still be happening, where you're still in the dugout with me. But it's also really good to know that he's the first person that I can go to when I feel something struggling, either baseball wise or life wise. He's the one that's kind of pushing me to be the best person I can be at all times.
I have a feeling that after your playing days are over, you will be a coach somewhere.
For sure.
And it'll be a Whelehan combination.
Yep.
Before we get to some final questions, what are you majoring in at LeMoyne? What's your study?
I'm doing undergrad in psychology right now.
Okay. And you're in your sophomore season.
Yep.
What have the classes been like? And do you have any idea what you want to do with it? I kind of get a feel of where you're going.
Sure, yeah. With LeMoyne, you got to do all those prereqs kind of your freshman, sophomore year. So you're taking those kind of history, math classes, those science classes that every person at LeMoyne has to take.
Right.
Once you get after your sophomore year, kind of in your junior year, it's just kind of focus on your major and then a couple prereqs that you have to just complete. So I'm doing psychology. The psych classes that I'm doing are nice. The professors are the best in that program. I have a really good psych professor right now. The classes right now for the undergrad are just general psych. Right now I'm taking a class called Research Methods, where you learn how to research efficiently. There's a natural science that I'll have to do, like a physics and chemistry. that I'll have to do next semester. There's a social science that I'll have to do. There's a class at LeMoyne that's called sports sociology that I'll probably take because it talks about sports in a social aspect. But other than that, the undergrad part at LeMoyne in the psychology program has been really good. All the professors are awesome too, and they also help too with the rigorous baseball schedule, which is nice because during the season it's rough because you're playing your midweeks on Tuesday, and then you're traveling on the weekends on Thursday, and then you're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the only days you're kind of at school are Mondays and Wednesdays throughout the whole semester.
Wow.
Which is rough. But the all the professors there are understanding that you're an athlete. The baseball part is going to take up a lot of your time. If you need extra help, they're going to be the first ones that are willing to help you. So that's where I utilize office hours, just extra work that I would miss because of baseball. They're the ones that are going to help me and push me academically. So the psych program and all those professors are nothing but the best. But post-grad, haven't put too much thought about it recently, but I'm sure I'm going to start thinking about it soon. Trying to go somewhere in like the sports psych world where I can attest to the mental part of any game for that matter. I haven't put too much thought into it, but there's a guy in Rochester that I was just brought to attention a couple days ago. So we'll see if I can get in with him. There's just kind of thinking about more of the psych world and how it leads to helping kids and athletes mentally in their sport. Because like I said, you can only do so much skill wise. That mental piece is going to take you to the next part of your game. And like I said, too, coaching would also be wonderful too, because my grandfather's been a coach, my dad's been a coach. I aspire to be a coach one day too. And if I can take that mental strength and conditioning part into the coaching world, that's kind of where it would all mesh for me. So that's something that I'll probably start to think about year after this year once I start focusing more on my major.
Sure.
But it's definitely something that I aspire to do.
Excellent. You're from Hilton. What's something special about Hilton that you could tell somebody from Syracuse or Buffalo that doesn't know us?
It's small. It's a small, gritty, hard-nosed town, which is something that everyone from Hilton has. Like, we're the West Side team, we're the West Side school. You go over to the east side of Rochester, those Fairports, those Pine Fields, those Rush, that are bigger schools, where we're going to compete with them just because of how we are shaped as a community. The gritty kind of put your nose down and go to work. That's kind of what the community is based around. And it's something that's molded me to in my college world too. Like LeMoyne for me, I feel like is the exact same, just small, gritty, hard nosed. We might be smaller than you, but we're could be just as good as you. That's something that Hilton takes a lot of pride in, and it's something that has shaped me, and I know has shaped many other people too.
All right, some final thoughts about favorites. You got a favorite food? Well, I kind of heard.
Yeah,
Juju's lasagna or anything else?
Lasagna's up there. Yeah, I like a lot of Italian stuff, like the chicken farms, all of that. But if I had to pick one to eat for the rest of my life, it's definitely lasagna for sure.
She's watching. Any favorite TV show or show that you binge watch?
Yep, I'm a big Office guy. I love The Office.
You can name all the lines before they come out.
Yep,
Do you have a favorite character?
Yeah, Dwight or Michael Scott's probably up there. I can recite a lot of lines for that. Definitely my parents, my brothers, my girlfriend, they get tired of me saying it, but I just find it hilarious. It's so funny.
Favorite book? You mentioned that you do read some stuff.
Yeah, so I have two kind of. There's one that's kind of takes you into the mental side. It's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Okay.
Who was a Navy SEAL kind of lieutenant person who is into the big mental side of things. He's very big on social media now with his mental platform and what he does. So that book kind of just described his upbringing and how to kind of build confidence in your mental capacity. And then there's one that really doesn't touch upon sports at all. It kind of touches about how to approach life in general. It's called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews.
Okay.
That was a book that John Schwinn gave to me before I headed to college, and it's a very easy read. It's a book about how life can change in an instant, pretty much, and it's how you approach it that will kind of settle it down, kind of view life in a more positive way. The book, the kind of the storyline of the book is very interesting too. Like, it starts off like this character gets into some bit of financial trouble. He gets laid off of his job. His daughter's like in a health problem, and he's just kind of going mentally insane to the point where he's driving one night and just lets go of the wheel and then gets in an accident. And then kind of the main storyline to the book is that he's in a coma, and it's kind of taking you through the story about his journey through his mind almost. So he goes, it's weird to explain, but he goes back in time and he meets all these notable figures throughout history. Like, he meets with Harry Truman's one of them, Abe Lincoln's another one, Christopher Columbus, kind of like these historical figures, and they kind of just give him like tips and ways to approach your life despite all of what's happening negatively. And by the end of the book, kind of takes those memories that he has mentally and he shapes it in a way where he's implementing those, and he builds up and up and up into this business that he created, becomes CEO, and he's very wealthy. So it's kind of just a nice journey as to your life can change in an instant, but here's how we can flip it and make it positive and keep building towards basically a good life, a good life leads from a positive way. Pretty much that's what the book kind of alludes to.
It's going to lead to my last question for you, but I've got a couple more. Do you have a favorite quote?
Favorite quote. Other than all of the Office ones, I can do all of those. But there's one quote that really stuck with me. John Schwinn uses this as in his business motto. He says, "Better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow."
Okay.
Meaning that you're striving to be better than what you were yesterday, but you're not going to be better tomorrow, because tomorrow there's still work left to be done. There's going to be new challenges you have to face, but you're going to improve them. And so it's kind of just an each day step that you were better than what you were yesterday, but tomorrow you're going to be better than what you were today.
Well said. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Sports movie.
Sports movie, I go Field of Dreams or The Sandlot. Those are kind of interchangeable. I love those two. I'm not a big movie guy. I'm more of a TV show guy.
Okay.
With The Office. But yeah.
You got a favorite thing you like to do to relax?
Yeah, I like lifting weights. Is kind of something that I can always go to. It's kind of, can't say baseball because outside of baseball, but what I do to relax is I just go out to either the basement or a batting cage, just sit off the tee, listen to some music, just kind of clear my head. Being around family and friends is always a good way to relax. But yeah, I like just doing kind of calm, meddling things just to kind of reset my brain in a way.
Kind of alluded to this with your books, but if you had to pick 3 people from history to eat dinner with, who would they be? And if you can only narrow it down to one, that's fine.
Yep. I'd say a guy like a David Goggins, a guy like him who's very passionate about mind and...
Is he still alive?
Yep,
okay.
He's still alive. Let's see. Probably a guy like a Ted Williams or like a Babe Ruth, who's one of those baseball legends. Just being in the presence of him. I'm a big history guy too. I'm a big history nerd. A guy like George Washington, Abe Lincoln, just kind of like to see their thought process into a revolutionary time where you're starting a whole country. That would be kind of cool to see their thoughts and to see their works. So yeah, I narrowed it down to those 3.
Final thoughts. Any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, just because with your theme being from people from Hilton, the community is filled with so many great people. The town, the people, the community has really shaped who I am. as a person. I'm very appreciative of all their work and all their support throughout the years. And this is a place that will always be special to me. This is a place where I can always come to and feel comfortable, like I'm at home. And it's something that I will, when I get older to where I am, like if I get older to my dad's age, my parents' age, it's a place where I can see myself still living.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place where I can see myself coming back to, starting a family, starting a career maybe somewhere around this area. So yeah, Hilton is very special to me, and it's something that I hope and I'm sure we will continue to see grow as a community.
Well, good. I mean, that's the type of podcast I want to do, is highlighting people that have gone on, and you are still going on and doing great things. Michael, I appreciate you being here. It's been a pleasure learning more about you. You talked about future guests. In the future, we'll be bringing more guests in the weeks, like John Crumley, Sonny Tobias, Terry Gilmore, and even Dr. Kasorik. You can follow me on X at Michael Heiss 17, all capitals, or on Rumble at the Big H Podcast. This has been Mike Heiss on the Big H Podcast with Mixing It Up with Whelehan. Good luck with baseball.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be following you this spring.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find